skipped the first few seconds. I said, remember you saying, be a Googler, right? So
be a good Googler. You can find anything online. You're on mute again, Mercy.
Hi, sorry.
That's all right.
So we are live now. So testing the microphone. I said, remember you said be a Googler, right?
Yep.
It's 17 hours.
Thank God for Google, right? I wanted to use the Restream app, and it's my first experience. I need to actually log in and see if it's working. So right now I should be streaming on multiple channels, and hopefully that works. So first, thank you so much for being our first guest on Let's Talk Agile. This is a series that I started last year, but because of workload, I think I always take more than I chew. I totally packed it to the side. So I'll give you the platform and get you to introduce yourself, let people get to know who you are, and tell us one special thing about you as well that people don't know, because remember, this is Let's Talk, our untold stories that we don't often share. So it's to get people to know you. The goal is to get to bridge the digital skill gap.
Right.
So, of course.
Okay, so my name is Sabrina Bruce. I live in the UK in the northeast of England. I'm an Agile coach and trainer. I actually work with multiple different companies at the moment, the main one being Maztec. I also do some work alongside some consulting with Scrum Alliance as well. I've been an Agile coach, a Scrum Master, product owner. I've been multiple different roles, and I enjoy the fact I can be multiple different roles because I do enjoy them all. I've been doing this for around about over 10 years now in my career. And some people may not realize, I've had the most strangest career path. I used to actually be a telecoms networks engineer. So I do have a technical background. It might be slightly outdated, but I used to run, build and manage telecom platforms for MMS, which we don't have anymore, which was the original picture messaging back in the day, WAP and text messaging. And I used to also run the competitions for X Factor back in the day. So I used to sit there when the X Factor was doing the actual voting. I was one of the people in the background that was basically opening the calls and closing the calls, which was quite interesting to see. So I got paid to watch X Factor and wait for it to start and end. So there's a little bit of an interesting fact. Another fact is I'm actually quite shy. Even though I don't seem it, I can be quite shy.
I find that hard to believe, but I do understand why you would be shy, because that's fascinating to know. Really? X Factor?
Yeah, I can't sing, and I never would be. I'd sound like a strangled cat, but it was very interesting seeing everything in the actual background and working with multiple different telecom providers. In the UK, there's 5 telecom providers, and everyone seems to think that we're enemies with each other companies. But actually, the technical guys, like myself back in the day, we were all quite friendly to each other. It was quite cool, actually.
Oh, bless. Wow. That's an array of a career path, I reckon. That's amazing. Yeah. So one of the goals for Let's Talk Agile is conversation. And I'm big on conversation. We don't do a lot of that. We assume a lot and not having the right conversation. So I'd like to ask you, what does Agile mean to you?
Agile, do you know what? The one thing that I love and what got me started on Agile was its simplicity. It was also the fact that it was about time that we had a simple framework. And I'm talking about all the frameworks here. It's simple, it makes sense. And the fact it was a framework that actually listened to the people doing the physical work. So when it became to development, software, we were listening to the guys that physically do this day to day. We weren't getting dictated to. We weren't being told that you have to do it this way by people that weren't necessarily experienced in the work. And that was one of the reasons I actually fell in love with. The second reason was You can use these frameworks for anything. My husband is also an Agilist. We use Kanban to organize our wedding. We use Kanban. At one point in our life, we had two houses. We lived in the northeast of England. That was our private home. And in the northwest, we had another house where we lived in, where we worked. And to be able to manage duplicate of bills, housework, food deliveries, all that lot, we use Kanban for that. That's how simplistic Kanban can be. And then we're also renovating our house, and we have been for several years. So we use Scrum as mini little projects when we're renovating a room or a different area within the house. And we do, sadly enough, on a Saturday, have a stand-up, go through, prioritize our backlog. Yes, we have a backlog, we have a board, we have post-it notes. We prioritize what our workload is and what we're going to be able to do. And that's why I love Agile. It's not just for software development. You can use it in your personal life. I've even Kanbaned my friends' children, or I've used Scrum. So there was a thing back in the day with Super Nanny of getting your children to start doing the chores around the house. And a friend of mine said, do you know what, that stuff that Super Nanny was saying about doesn't work. So I made a joke and I said, I'd Agile your children. And I did. And they love it. They love moving the post-it notes by the end of the board. They loved completing their sprint. They loved the fact they got a game or something at the end of the sprint. It was the same. It's very similar to what Super Nanny was doing. But I scrummed, I agiled my friends' children, and then still to this day, they absolutely love it. So that is another reason why I love it. You can use it in anything in your life.
I actually love the way you said it. I scrummed.
I scrummed.
I scrummed. And I come back. I saw Mary on LinkedIn. She said, Mr. and Mrs. Agile. I mean, that's brilliant. Okay, now you've actually given us a bit of an overview of how your journey started. I'd like us to know where did you get to know I was going to become an Agilist? How, or at what point in your career path did you say I was going to be an Agilist?
It was a bit of a weird one. I was actually part of the leadership within a company called EE, which is a telecoms company. And I had an option for redundancy. I'd been there for 13 years and I needed a change. My husband wasn't my husband then, he was my fiance. He was an Agilist and we'd been playing around and dabbling with Agile back then. And I kind of took redundancy and decided I needed a career change. I wanted to do something different. And I had my project management qualifications, certifications, but there was a bit in Prince 2, as an example, I disagreed with. It didn't feel comfortable with me. So I decided to have a look at a Scrum Master course. I loved delivery. I loved the excitement. It reminded me of the excitement when I was a networks engineer, and I'd done multiple years working in delivery as a delivery manager or a release manager. So I went and took a Scrum Master course with Jeff Watts. He's absolutely amazing, him and his partner in crime. And it was a way that they did the training course to certify me as a Scrum Master. The passion, the fun, the excitement, it got me hooked. And then it was something that made sense. Everything that was shown and taught to me made sense. Why were we not doing this in the world? It's simplistic, it works. Why are we not doing it? And that's how I started. And I started off as a junior Scrum Master. And you know where you find something in this world that you pick up that doesn't feel like a job and you're that passionate about and you love it? The fact that I got paid for it was amazing. And it's still like that. And I grew as a Scrum Master. I grew working in leadership. And then I started growing in transformation. And that's how I ended up doing what I do. And the one thing I can say is I wake up every single day excited about my job. I don't have a day, I'll have days where I'm tired, but I don't have a day where I go, oh, I've got to go to work, because I'm a lucky person that can say that I love my job. And every single person I meet, greet, and I work with, I love. And I love doing it. And I want to be doing this for so many years and constantly be growing.
You know what? Something that you said that was quite very pungent for me is the fact that you dabbled. A lot of the people that I've interviewed didn't necessarily know I'm an Agilist. But I think for some reason, because their mindsets, their hearts, it speaks to the core value of Agile, you know, For you to be an Agilist, you have to love people. You have to have people at the back of your heart. Yeah. So the same story path for me, totally. But one thing that you said that was you love what you do. You don't, it doesn't feel like job. And that's what has happened to me as a late start. I'd like you to just say just a bit of a follow up to the question I asked. Someone that has never heard the word agile, proper green, because Nigeria, we are far, far away from adopting the mindset. But the truth is, every Nigerian that I've seen, they are pure agilists by nature. It's just that they don't understand the context. What does it mean to be agile? How does this apply to work, to my life, to my business? Because you said you Kanban the children, you Kanban your wedding, you scrummed it. So I'd like you to speak to that.
As it's simplistic, you start to realize you're actually doing this day to day. You think when we've got to do an activity, what do? If we've been asked to do an activity, we break it down in our minds. We naturally break it down. So say I had to make a journey to a location that I've never been to before. The first thing I do is I'd have a look at Google Maps and I'd find out where the location is. I'm breaking down my work. The next stage I would be is like, right, how am I going to get there? Am I going to go by car? Am I going to go by plane? What is the distance? And you'd also then think about, well, what time do I need to get there? When do I need to leave? Am I better off, going the night before, booking a hotel? What do I need to wear? We naturally, as human beings, break things down. So that's why, whatever framework you're working in, we break the work down to make it simplistic, but also understandable. And also when you're breaking the work down or whatever job you need to do, you then start to find barriers. So if I go back to like the travel example, right, so I've got to travel, oh, there's a toll booth. And I do a bit of research, that toll booth doesn't take card, it only takes cash. So I need to make sure I go to the cash machine and get some cash. There, I found myself, there's a risk and there's an impediment, and I've worked out how to fix that risk and impediment. It's just those examples. We do it in our day-to-day life when we're doing things. So why are we not doing it in work and in projects? Probably got a bit over there, but that's a really good example.
Honestly, I love the way you break it down. But one thing that you clearly said, just a bit of a follow-up as well, that you said was Geoff Watts was your trainer. And I'd like to say this as well. Whoever trained you and exposed you to the agile way of thinking, the agile, or maybe the Scrum, or is it Kanban, whoever actually opened your eyes really plays a very vital role to embracing it the way it should be. And so I think that is equally key, because when I had my own certification, I don't think I really applied much. But this year on Learntor, with the Learntor cohort 1, participating in the Agile, whatever, I've seen how it's key to learn with the right trainer, to be in a right class and be exposed to the Agile mindset. Then it speaks to the core value and how it can shape and change the trajectory of your life. So thank you so much for that. Also, but I like what
it's not just
go on.
Well, I think the one thing that helped me was being able to openly listen to people and have that passion. Training courses are absolutely amazing, and I fully recommend everybody get trained and get certified. But the next stage, which a lot of people don't quite understand, is there's taking a training course and understanding the framework, the role, the responsibility. But you've then got to take the next big leap, which is implement it. A lot of people that go on training courses these days, they're corporate companies have said, right, we've decided we want Scrum Masters. I'm going to send you on a Scrum Master course. But the Scrum Master course doesn't always necessarily teach you to implement it. And that's where the next stage of learning people need to do. They need to take that next leap. They need to research. They need to find other Agilists. And that's what I did. I learned, example, Agile 20 Reflect. Okay. We all know that very well. It's a big thing on it. I'm lucky enough to be involved in it. Mercy, you've had a massive impact on it as well. And the amount of people we touch base with, that we are speaking to and we are learning, it's a constant learning goal. I will never say I'm an expert. I will never say that, because there is so much to learn constantly, and I'm always willing to learn that. But if you're going to be an Agilist, you need to be prepared to take that next step constantly and enjoy it. And as you will say, Mercy, embrace it. That is Mercy's word. You need to embrace it, and I agree with it. You embrace it, my love.
Yeah, and honestly, I need to speak to the Agile 20 Reflect Festival that is happening February 2020. It's a 1 month long event.
Yeah.
We'll be having an event from Nigeria, reenactment of the Agile Manifesto, part of our event for the Agile. And honestly, I was hungry because I know the complexity of Africa, the fact that many organizations are not adopting the Agile way of thinking. They are not leveraging the Agile mindset to be able to use either Scrum, Kanban, Safe, whichever one. I like the way Miles says it. They said, it's not my Kool-Aid. Whichever one works for your organization, you leverage on it. You want to use hybrid Scrumban, you want to use whichever one works. You have to identify what area of need and where it fits into your organization. So Agile 20 Reflect, change was a game changer for me. Bearing in mind, I didn't have any experience, not enough experience to work within an Agile team. And like you said, it gave me opportunity to fail fast, learn fast, and see where I can improve. And that was very key. And 80% of Learntor cohort 1 that came on the program did not know what Agile is. 80% of them are volunteering for the Agile 20 Reflect to gain that hands-on experience. So 2 day certification in Scrum, in whatever framework that you want to go and learn does not cut it. You need that hands-on practical learning, and that's what Sabrina is speaking to. So I'd like to ask you a question now. How has it been? Because a lot of people think it's a silver bullet. Agile solves all the problem in the world. What has been the challenge that you've experienced or lessons? Let's not necessarily challenge that you have learned from. What have you learned in the course of your Agile path?
So one thing is, I thrive on challenges. Things can't be too simplistic because it gets boring. And maybe that's the type of person I am. I like to have a bit of a challenge. When I work with multiple teams, if they don't challenge me, I'm like, don't just listen to me all the time. Challenge me, ask me questions. I'm not always going to be right, or what I'm recommending is not always going to be the right way that you want to go. You need to challenge me, and I actually push people to challenge me. There's two ways of challenges. There's that awkward challenge where people just want to see you slip up, which is fine. It's a challenge on its own. It's the other challenge of basically pushing you as a human being. I work with a lot of organizations when it comes to leadership, to delivery, and even for transformation. And yes, a lot of people do assume that we need to fix something, so we're just going to go Agile. And the first thing they will always say is, we're going to go Scrum. They may not know why they want to go Scrum. It's the first thing. Or we're going to use the Spotify method because it's an extremely popular method to use, without realizing that the Spotify method is a hybrid framework for Spotify, for their business. Hybrid frameworks are great, but you need to be able to understand and do the basics and work and build onto the basics. So that is one of the biggest challenges when I get a company, which I love, and I absolutely love it. It's when a company comes to me and asks me to run a transformation, either on a delivery team or on the actual business. They first tell me that they want to do this, and it's the challenge of finding out why. What are the benefits? Getting an understanding of how that business works, getting an understanding of how the departments work, getting an understanding of what makes people happy, what doesn't make people happy. And I don't see it as a bad challenge. I see it as an actual great challenge, because I've actually grown as a person through every single challenge. But yeah, not every framework is fit for purpose, and that's okay. Scrum are guidelines. You can play with it. Kanban is a guideline. You can play with it. Safe, you can play with all of these. You don't need to do everything by the book. Make it fit for purpose for what you need to do. So that's one of the biggest challenges.
And that is actually truly very, very vital for a lot of people to understand that it's not because you see this is what is in vogue, I need to jump on it, I need to do this for my organization. What are the problems you want to solve? What would work for your team to help you achieve the result? And I think that until a lot of organization or individuals start to leverage, okay, Agile itself is a set of value with principle. There was no framework that was mentioned. So from those values and principle, the goal was uncover better ways of working. So you want to use Scrum, Scrum it away, like she scrummed some children. You want to use Kanban, Kanban it away, like she Kanban some children. Go on, yeah.
Don't be scared to ask questions. That's another thing I find is no matter what level a person is within a business, don't be scared to ask a question. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You know, I've worked with chiefs, CTOs, I've worked with multiple leaders, even business owners, and I've never had that fear to ask them why, because you require that information. Why do you want to do this? Why do you feel it's beneficial? Never be scared to ask those questions. Even if you feel it's a stupid question, you're asking that question for a reason because you require the information. So just say, do you know what, this may sound like a stupid question, but why would you like to do this? Or what benefit do you feel it is? So, and it's back to this thing you brought up at the very beginning, communication. Communicating as people, getting an understanding of what the benefits are, the reasons of why we're doing it. Have that communication as well. You're on mute, darling.
I know. Wow. 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 Wow.
2021.
Oh, wow. Honestly, you couldn't have put it better than I could. Honestly, the truth of the matter is, I always say the only stupid question is the one you never ask. And it's so key that people ask questions. Yeah. And it's okay to fail. Agile gives you room to fail. But the key is learn from your failure. I've made mistakes. Yeah. I tell people every day, I am a work in progress. And I'm trying to evolve and adapt. So I'm going to ask you a question. At least I take this away from the Agile 20 Reflect. Who are your Agile heroes? I'd like to hear at least 2 women and 1 man. Because,
oh my God.
yeah, just try.
Do you know what? There are so many. And do you know what? There's some people out there that may not be big names. And this is why
Exactly.
I'm enjoying the Agile 20 Reflect. And I'm sorry, I'm plugging this in again, not as just a shameful plug, but to give.
Oh, no. I love it, actually.
It's just because there are a lot of big names out there that I respect, male and female. There are a lot of big names that I've learned from. They've helped me in my career and I absolutely love. But there's a lot of people like myself and you who are also in this day have started from the bottom and we're still there. We're still learning. We're still trying to pull this together. And I'm enjoying learning from those people. There are people that are just sat in businesses right now with the same job titles as me, doing something similar to me, but they're different aspects and they're different, you know, what they're seeing and what their experiences is very different. And I'm learning from those as well. So I can't give you strict names. Obviously, Roman Pitula, he knows I'm a fangirl on that side. And obviously the normal names you've got out there, but actually the people that are my heroes are people like me and yourself, that we are in the trenches, we are getting in there and doing it, and we are loving every minute of every single challenge.
I would mention a few heroes of mine, okay? Like you say, yeah, I think is my mentor, Erin Randall, that actually put it very succinctly, that who would she consider an hero? On people that fresh voices that many people don't even know, and that speaks to what you're saying. For me, key people that I'm sure is going to keep growing, because remember, I'm a completely new voice in the Agile space, totally new, and you are one of my heroes.
Hey.
Yeah, you are. Erin Randall is. Mary Lanio. Mary is a pure Agile breed. Mary Lanio. I've never seen someone embrace the Agile mindset the way she does. I totally respect. I respect who she is. So I rather focus on the women. Louisa Mensah, Lizzie Morris, These are people that have impacted my life most positively. I met somebody recently, two people that are really like, I call them my superheroes, Dipti Jane and Angie, oh God, her name just eluded me. I just celebrated her on LinkedIn. I just met her this week and I'm like, whoa, these are people making changes. And yet when we don't hear about them. So I'm honored to actually mention them. So those are my heroes as well. So just along with what you said, but I just have a few people that I'm seeing a lot of the things that they do that represent what I'm trying to do. I know I have this crazy idea. I want to save Nigeria and get them to adopt the agile mindset.
Great.
I know that I will get there. So I want to say, I don't know if anybody has question on any of the platform. Any on, okay, I'm on YouTube. Any question? Okay, I can hear a good one. Let me see on LinkedIn if there's any question from anybody particularly.
Multiple platforms. I'm actually kind of blushing. I don't know how many people.
Oh no, I don't have that much following, but you see the beauty for me, the beauty for me restreaming is the fact that people can go back and watch them. So it's not so much about the content for right now, but the content that people can come back to watch. So there are 4 people on LinkedIn watching at the moment. On LinkedIn at the moment. So I don't know if there's any question for you, but overall, my time boxing using the Scrum word for this session was 30 minutes, and we have done all the questions within 20 minutes. So this is exciting.
I've been good at being, my New Year's thing is to try and not talk too much because I'm quite a talker sometimes.
But you're good. I totally respect that. So I don't know if there's any question on Twitter. Let me just check quickly. Twitter.
While we're looking at the question, I'm going to do a couple of shameless plugs. So if anyone's actually interested, I do actually run with 2 of my partners in crime, Richard Cornelius and Richard Stevens. We run an Agile Leaders and Managers meetup group. Yeah. We also have a LinkedIn page that we're just building up. Also, another shameful plug is obviously we've got the most amazing thing coming up in February that we've already mentioned, which is the Agile. It's a month-long free festival. So any new Agilists, any Agilists that have been Agilists for years, anyone just want to learn or meet new people, take this opportunity. Another plug-in is I'm actually running one on dyslexia with Scott. Both myself and Scott and many Agilists out there are dyslexic. And it's taken years.
Including myself. We raised it when we're having a trustees meeting.
You know what? You can be successful even if you are dyslexic. I am not the best in my written skills, and it's taken me years to be able to stand up in front of the board, write, which is training and that lot. And do you know what? Since I've been able to come out and say I'm dyslexic and be proud of it, has actually made me move leaps and bounds within my career and my personality. So a bit of a shameful plug-in, right? Please join us on that, because
I don't know why you think it's shameful. I'm going to go to the Agile 20 Reflect website and just share. So this is what she's talking about, the festival coming up February 2020. I'll particularly recommend you come to the festival calendar. Yeah. There are loads of events that have been scheduled there. And so please check. Oh, you see, I'm not even up to date now. They've categorized all the events. So we have loads and loads of events registered and on the calendar. Just go there, click on any of the event. Let me see, what date is your event on dyslexia so I can show it to them?
Oh, what date? You're testing me now. I've got to try and remember. I wasn't prepared.
I know it's there. I have to find it.
We can share it on the link. It is there.
Okay. I know it's there. I'm just trying to get people to identify which one it is. So there are loads of events that is scheduled for February 20. It's a 1 month long event. The one with dyslexia and
languages is amazing. You know what? We're hoping to hit 200 or more, and we're getting so close. I posted on LinkedIn the other day, we had 100. Within 2 days, we jumped up to 130. We are passionate. we're getting these in, we're doing this for everybody else. We're trying to get this out there. So, and even I think the Agile leaders and managers, the team that I have as well, I work with as a team, we're hoping to see if we can get something in. But yeah, there's so much there. Do you know what? I think it hits for every single interest, every single person, every single type of role. It is there and it's for free. So definitely, absolutely amazing.
And that's
time now.
No, yeah, we did. I wanted to go to your Agile managers and leaders. Agile, so it's another
managers. It's on my LinkedIn, so we're still building it.
Yeah, so I'd like you to follow Sabrina Bruce. She's on LinkedIn. You can ask her further questions that you might need clarification on. She's an accessible person, and I know she's very receptive as well. And we keep carrying on the conversation. What would you like to nominate for my Let's Talk Agile? It could be a male, it could be a female, but preferably a lady. So we can reach out to her. Otherwise, it's okay. We have a lineup, but I'd like to ask the question anyway. So I think you covered what you're doing. She has an event she's holding on dyslexic. I'm going to be there. I hope I get to speak as well, because working with the Agile 20 Reflect, I realized how heavily dyslexic I am and how underestimated we are as dyslexic people, and how intelligently brilliant we equally are, because we have very creative mind. So I've come to appreciate my dyslexia. I didn't even know it was a problem until just 2019. I didn't even know it was any problem because I self-diagnosed myself. Yeah, go on.
Everyone has downfalls, or everyone has things that they're not very good at. So when you're somebody that's got something you know you're not very good at, what do? You lean on the strengths you are good at, and then you improve on that. So my communication skills improve, or I hope they're good. I feel my communication skills have grown massively because my written skills are not the best. But I'm also being open and honest. I've said to quite high leaders that have just employed me, I've actually said it in interviews where I said, you know, they've asked you, you know, where are you not very good at? And I've openly said, do you know what? I'm dyslexic. Do you know what? I will spell things wrong, you know, and you will find spelling mistakes, or you will find at the top of the page it's spelt right, at the bottom of the page it's not. That's my downfall, and I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not embarrassed by it at all. But the one thing you will find is that I'm amazing at communicating. I love my job. I'm prepared to learn, you know, take me as I am on that side.
Awesome. Anyway, I actually fell into that trap. I posted something. I went to put Friday instead of Wednesday. And instead of me to just go to LinkedIn and see what the error is, a post that took me about 30 minutes to post, I had to delete and repost it because of Wednesday. So
I've done it so many times myself. I think it was more we were communicating on WhatsApp and I was trying to confirm, you know, it's not Friday. I've got commitment on Friday. We're talking Wednesday. What you want about?
Oh, it's crazy, man. But for me, and you know, the irony is, instead of people to call you out, Mercy, you've made a spell error there. Mary does that for me sometimes. Mercy, what are you typing? I'll go back and correct it. People will just think, oh, she must be dumb. It's okay. It's all right for you to think I'm dumb. Because if you actually engage me in a conversation, we can't compete. I'm a talkative, I'm a chatterbox, and I'm very good at talking. So it's a plus. It makes up for my spell errors, and I'm okay. I want to say thank you so much for coming on board. I truly appreciate your time. And it's quite a fun conversation. I hope somebody out there that will watch maybe today, tomorrow, wherever time they get to watch it, and identify, oh, I really don't have a problem as a dyslexic person. Oh, look at these people, they're doing well, so I'll be fine. Hopefully a story gets to inspire one person. The goal is just inspire one. And that's the cause of and the reason for this conversation. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation, and we look forward to doing great things.
Hopefully I get to speak to you guys very, very soon again. I really enjoy it when I do speak to your team and everybody that are being trained and coached by you. So you know me, darling, you ever need me, you give me a shout. But thank you very much for the time, the platform, and see you soon.